Hi guys! That soda bottle and balloon were under some serious pressure. The balloon tried to handle the pressure of the soda being forced into it, but it eventually gave way and soda came spewing out in epic slow motion fashion. We've been taking a look at how we come under some pressure in our own lives. Sometimes that pressure is forced on us, and sometimes the hard things happen because of the choices that we make. Well, the Israelites experienced situations like that as well. The Israelites were God's first chosen people. They were to live differently than the rest of the people of the world. So God gave them commands and instructions to help them live their lives for Him, and He expected them to obey. But sometimes they didn't obey, and God would do something to help correct His people back to living for Him. But get this, sometimes God would show mercy to the Israelites because God is merciful. That means that God would choose not to give the Israelites a punishment they deserved for their sin. And that mercy points us right to God's amazing love. Last time we talked about how Joshua took over as leader of the Israelites after Moses died. Joshua was a great leader who trusted and obeyed God. He led the Israelites to many victories with God's power, but eventually Joshua became old and he died. Right before Joshua died, he delivered a warning to the people of Israel. Listen to this. So be very careful to follow everything Moses wrote in the book of instruction. Do not deviate from it, turning either to the right or to the left. Rather, cling tightly to the Lord your God as you have done until now. And that's from Joshua 23, 6 and 8. This was a reminder to the people of Israel to keep God's commands. A little bit later in Joshua's message, he warns the Israelites that if they did not do what God said, then God would stop giving them victory over their enemies. And this brings us to a book of the Bible called Judges. Order! Order in the court, please! Oh, wait. We're not talking about that kind of judge. A judge in the Bible was another kind of leader of Israel. They were people who gave messages from God to the people and would help rescue God's people when they were in trouble, because they didn't have a king yet. Anyway, in the book of Judges, we learn about a pretty interesting cycle, which is when a pattern keeps happening over and over and over and over again in the same way. The Israelites went through a cycle that we can see in the book of Judges. Once Joshua died, the Israelites forgot about the miraculous things that God had done for them, and they began to sin. They began to worship other gods and do evil things. So, guess what happened? Their enemies would then come and overtake them. It was a horrible pressure that the Israelites had to deal with, but it was because of their own choice to sin against God. Once the Israelites realized what they had done, they would repent or turn back to God by asking for His forgiveness. And what do you think God did? God showed them mercy. He raised up a judge to help rescue the people from their enemies. And then the Israelites would spend some years in peace and rest. For around 300 years, the Israelites went through this cycle. The Bible tells us they had 12 different judges during that time. They'd sin, be overtaken by their enemies, cry out to God and repent. God would send a judge to rescue them. Then they'd live in peace. And over and over and over and over again, this cycle would happen. But I just love that God continued to be merciful. Did the Israelites deserve to be punished for their disobedience? Absolutely, especially since they kept on sinning. But because God is merciful, He made a way for His people to be rescued and to have peace again. That reminds me of us. We sin and disobey God too, and He has every right as the one true God of the universe to give us the punishment we deserve for making those wrong choices. But I am so thankful that today we are learning about how God is merciful. Say that bottom line with me today. God is merciful. God is full of mercy, which means he can choose to not give us the consequences that we deserve for our sinful choices. That mercy flows out of God's incredible love for us. Let's take a look at what mercy can look like for you and me.
Baby, stop dribbling the basketball in the house. I've already told you twice.
$1 a month. You may lower your...
Nope. Definitely not. Man, there's nothing to watch. Chocolate milk? No. There's nothing. Who ate my dino nuggets? Oh. Do we have anything to eat? This isn't fun. I'm so bored. He dribbles down the court. Pass to 11. 11 passes back. Almost gets blocked. Good close by his defender. This is it for the game. He shoots. Misses. There's time still left. Puts it up again. Shoots for the win. Oh no.
James, what did you do? My vase. Your dad gave this to me for our anniversary. James.
I'm so sorry. You told me not to dribble the ball in the house, but I just got so bored and it doesn't matter. You told me not to do it and I did it anyways and I ended up breaking the vase that I'd gotten you. I'm so sorry. I know how much you loved it.
Well, I need you to clean this up. And then I need you to take your basketball outside and make sure it stays outside. And then once you come in to clean up, I want you to go get ready to get some ice cream.
Ice cream? Mm-hmm. You want to go get ice cream? What about my punishment? Don't I get a punishment? I mean, I definitely don't want a punishment, but I mean, I deserve one, right?
Yes, you do. But I'm going to show you mercy. Mercy is not getting the punishment that you deserve. God shows us mercy because he is merciful, and I'm going to show you mercy.
Well, I like mercy then.
All right, clean it up.
James was shown mercy by not getting punished when he disobeyed and broke the vase. And we will all be faced with situations like this. Maybe we will be the one who's asking for forgiveness, and maybe we will be the one in the position of being able to show mercy. There are plenty of times when going through hard times and dealing with the consequences of our choices is exactly what we need to get right with God. But boy, am I thankful that God sometimes chooses to show us mercy instead. We will disobey God pretty much every day. When that happens, we can tell him that we're sorry for sinning and ask him to forgive us. If we are punished for our sin, remember that God still loves us and that the punishment can help us learn to make better choices. That is something that we should be grateful for. I know I am. And if God's mercy means that we do not have to go through the hard consequences, be grateful to him for that too. And never forget that God is what? Yep. He is merciful. Let's say that bottom line together. God is merciful. All right, guys, I'll see you later.